Good morning from Raleigh, North Carolina. Um, I think I've actually shot here before too, but I'm actually at Cedar Hills Park. It's the closest park to my home. I kind of like to go to other parks, but this is a pretty cool park too. Like I think I've said before, we actually have a pretty good and challenging disc golf course. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today. Um, is the shadow. Um, I'm a big time old time radio fan. I love this stuff. I'm more along the lines, even though I consider myself to be more of a comedic person. I love more along the lines the mysteries and the whodunits and also the superheroes, if you will. And I guess that's where the shadow fits. I'm trying to think when I first actually heard of the shadow. I think the first time I ever heard of the shadow, if I'm not mistaken, might have been a little later in life. I believe it was 1994. I actually watched the movie, The Shadow. And for whatever reason, I don't remember a lot about it. Actually looked at the reception of it. I looked at some of the details, the box office numbers in it. Looks like it was probably so regrettable, probably so, probably so poorly received, and it might just not have been that great, in my memory that I just don't remember it, and this is nothing against, Alec Baldwin, um, who anyways, it's nothing about that. I'm pretty sure he's a pretty good actor. I just don't recall much in regards to that movie, but I do remember it did get me to thinking about, well, what other mediums was, if you will, what other media, but if you will, was the shadow in, and of course, I got a hold of, I think, a tape at the Cracker Barrel. I went to the Cracker Barrel and got a hold of a tape of it and enjoyed it, the daylights of it. I loved it. And then, I started, because they're all in the public domain. So, I wound up getting, downloading copies and, things of that nature. And just loved it. Now, while I do love it, I love the music. I'm a big fan of Orson Welles, who did quite a few of those. I'm a pretty good fan, I suppose, of William Johnstone, too, and Agnes Moorehead. I will tell you one thing, though. For the life of me, I, I have to say this. It does seem like the shadow drops the ball on some things that I just don't believe he had to. I'm not sure if you remember. I'm trying to remember the name of this episode. I think it was Devil's Island or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But remember there was a lady, Madame Renee. And Madame Renee had an issue with a person. Matter of fact, had an issue with him so much, actually set him up and got him into prison. And it was a prison, it was a prison island, and he was kept there. Now, Madame Renee was quite old by this time, right? She was old, they don't say for sure. I'm guessing that she's at least in her 60s, maybe 70s, if not a little older. So she confronts this person that she had in prison. The shadow is right there. The shadow's a superhero, right? This lady just winds up just basically plugging bullets straight into this guy, the prisoner. Just plugs bullets just straight in him. What's the shadow's response? The shadow's response was, I'm just going to keep haunting you. Now, not knocking the gun out of her hand, which he does sometimes, but not knocking the gun out of her hand. But he just says, I'm going to keep haunting you forever. Now, this goes on for this doesn't go on even for a minute. And the lady decides that she's going to jump out of a window. and the part that was amazing to me was he even blames, the victim, if you will, of this crime, for his hatred and anger. He says, you both, had hatred and anger. Well, no kidding, right? You were just, you were set up for prison for years, losing even your youth. Of course you have hatred and anger. Doesn't mean you have to be plugged while a superhero is watching you, and then the superhero decides that he's just going to, basically get on this lady's nerve and chance, there'll be a chance that perhaps she'll jump out of a window. Seems kind of silly to me. But there was another one too, where they were trying to, someone was trying to frame this candidate for, no, not a candidate, he was a senator. And so they were trying to find this person who had actually made tapes and was able to mimic voices. So the shadow's trying to find the guy, right? And it just so happens that the villain happens to find him before. So once again, the shadow's like, no, I have proof. And then the guy basically plugs the guy, right? He just basically shoots the proof. Now, meanwhile, he was able to wrestle, a trained professional, well, in this case, maybe a real wrestler. But he was able to do that. But he wasn't able just to take care of some guy. He's just literally just staring at the guy just shooting him. But I don't know. A couple cases, I just wonder, if they could have, worked that through. Because there's cases, he'll say, I could do more than just threaten, and then he takes a gun out of somebody's hand. Well, how come he couldn't do that with Madame Renee? I don't know. Anyway, just shooting the breeze, man. But hopefully you are, wherever you are, and whatever time you see this, hopefully you're having a good night, good day, or good night. Take care, and bye-bye from Raleigh, North Carolina.